Just on same-sex marriage, America's moved incredibly fast. At the time that all three of you had been in the Senate even, you're now seeing same-sex marriage being legalized in many states. Do you think that younger people don't care nearly as much about it as their parents and grandparents?
I think part of it's generational. I think a part of it's the media. I mean, you're casting movies and TV shows where people are, same-sex couples are funny, charming, and kind. The point is that you can be funny, charming, and kind and be in love with someone of the same sex. What's the role of the law here? We're not talking about an academic discussion. When is it proper for the government to set boundaries in terms of relationships? It's clearly proper to say you can't kill someone. And I have no problem with people passing on their property to someone they love. I have no problem with people having the ability to engage in a free and open life. A lot of this is religious. In my state, we're not going to change the traditional definition of marriage. And I would support the traditional definition of marriage, not out of hate, but if I believe that I think that's just best for society. At the end of the day, states will come out differently on this issue, and I think that's the way it should be. I think each state should set the terms.
Can America really stand for freedom and genuine equality if half the states continue to view the rights of a homosexual couple to get married in a completely different way to the way they view the rights of a heterosexual couple?
Can people in a republic, can people in South Carolina and New York differ? I hope so. But can we do it in a way
But can they both be equal?
Well, here's what...
Can they both espouse equality if actually in one state you can't get married and another you can't?
Going to answer that question this term. Really, that's the basic question. Well, two. One is it unconstitutional to prohibit same-sex marriage?
Yes. What do you think? Yes or no?
What do I think they're going to decide?
What do you think they should decide?
I think that marriage ought to be decided by the states. So that would mean that some states would have the right to prohibit same-sex marriage. Although I must tell you...
That's the principle of the conservative federalist belief.
But it seems so un-American to me.
Well,
here's a country, I'm sorry, but here's a country that stands on the grounds of freedom, democracy and equality. And here you are all telling me that's fine as long as you're in the right state. I don't get that.
I've been waiting to ask you this question.
Go on.
If it's based on love, can three people love each other?
Can three people love each other? Why would you need three people?
Well, is it possible for three people to genuinely love each other and want to share their lives together?
Of course it is.
Okay, then, is it okay to have three people marry each other?
I would say not. I don't think that's the debate. I don't think we're asking. I've not heard anybody arguing for the rights of three people to marry at the same time. No, but that's a facile point.
Why?
Because the point is simply a homosexual couple's right to get married in the same way as a heterosexual couple in America. Now, what all three, unless I'm wrong, what you're all three saying is, yes, if you're in the right geographic part of the country. And to me, that isn't equality.
The Constitution of the United States says all rights are reserved for the states, except for those given to the government.
But there are many federal laws.
There are.
And the argument now in the Supreme Court will be, should it be a federal issue? And I don't see how you can be a free and equal America unless this is a federal decision that says all rights are equal.
Do you respect the religious belief of people who
do you
respect those religious beliefs? And if they reflect those religious beliefs in the laws that are passed by their states,
I do respect religious beliefs.
If that's the will of the people.
But there are many people of different religions in many different states, as you know.
Certainly are.
Would you respect the original rights of the founding fathers to allow slavery? No. Would you allow slavery in some states, but not others?
You know what we're dealing with here? There's been a legal tradition in our country, and it runs straight into what you're asking, which is that the states are the place where domestic law, family law, is determined, state by state. The Supreme Court may say that's no longer valid. Incidentally, I just say this to you. Connecticut, same-sex marriage is legal in Connecticut. Somebody asked me recently, how has it changed things? And, you know, I thought about it, and to the best of my knowledge, it hasn't changed things at all. It hasn't really changed anybody's life except people who are gay or lesbian and want to.
All it's done is make certain people's lives happier and better.
Can I suggest this? Slavery was outlawed by a constitutional amendment. Go watch Lincoln. Great movie.
Yeah.
The people decided The question for us is who should decide these things? Should it be a handful of judges, or should it be the people themselves? And I come out on the side of the people themselves. Different people will look at it differently, but slavery was outlawed by a constitutional amendment. If you want to propose a constitutional amendment legalizing same-sex marriage and it passes, that's the law of the land.
Well, here's my